Hello, 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 hello. If you don't know me, guys, and new around here, I am Empress Sparkle. I am a spiritual guide here to help you on all your spiritual questions and all your spiritual needs. I hope everyone is well. I'm just setting everything up, my lovelies. Just setting everything up for Monday morning live. I'm a bit crazy, so you have to excuse me. How is everyone doing? Just sharing it out. You know what it's like. We've got to do all this sharing, share it on social media. Sharing. Publish original post. Honestly, it's such a pain in the backside. No word of a lie. It really is. All of this. Hey, Hev, you all right, sweet? How are you? Hey, Stacey. Oh, share. This is why you have to share it out, guys, because then they know you're live. How is everyone? I know, I had to commemorate her. I had to have her commemorated. I do miss her. I will admit that. Hello. Thank you. I feel really frizzy, if I'm honest. I feel really, really frizzy. Like, oh. There we go. Hello. I feel so frizzy. How is everyone? How art you all? Putting my head in the way of her. So if you're new around here and you don't know, this is to commemorate one of my spirit guides who has just left me, which is Luna. She was given to me by the goddess Artemis, so she's gone near the goddess Artemis's altar. And yeah. I'm good, sweet. I'm good. Tired from a night out. Hi, Emma. Oh, bless you. I'm really good. I'm feeling good today. I've literally had the most chilled weekend. It's unbelievable. That's a lie, actually. I've been packing. So that's a bit of a lie. But it's been chilled. So it's been done on my terms rather than rushing around, etc. So it's been quite chilled. Oh, bless you. Bloody puppies. See, you've had that a couple of times. That's interesting. That's interesting. We need to start logging this, Stacey, so we can track when it happens and stuff like that. Yeah, we need to track this. Start tracking it. Need to do a Book of Shadows. Yeah, I think we need to do a Book of Shadows. So if you don't know what a Book of Shadows is, guys, it's not a grimoire. It's actually completely different. So it's completely different. So the reason why it's different is because it's actually to log what happens to you spiritually, what is going on with you spiritually, mentally, and stuff like that. So it's like journaling, but on a spiritual level. And it's to log things like herbs and why you've used them and what you've used them for and stuff like that. So Book of Shadows is actually very, very different to a grimoire. A grimoire is what you keep all your spells in. Yes, sweet. I am packing at the minute. Yes. I have, Emma. I have seen the film Tarot. I have. I have. Yeah, so Lily would really, some people call it, like, when they're not into the witchcraft side, some people call it a dream journal. So she doesn't need to call it a book of shadows. You don't either. For that, you could call it a spiritual journal, just to sort of like keep track of what's going on, etc. We haven't got a move yet, but we're coming very high up on the list. Very, very high up. We're always 1 to 5. So it's sort of like panic mode, if I'm honest. Love it. No, exactly. We were sat there in the house, and obviously you know what's going to happen. And we were sat there, and I was going, why are they going to touch the tarot cards? And she even said I shouldn't touch these, and stuff like that. And she even had the feeling not to do it and stuff. And I'm sat there going, why are you ignoring? Why are you ignoring what your intuition's telling you? Why are you ignoring what you're spiritually being told to listen to? Okay, yeah, I know I can't listen to that, Tommy. He's been moaning at me for a couple of days. Oh, I've got foundation under me now. It was good. It was absolutely brilliant film. I will admit that. It was a good film. Someone with very good knowledge of tarot cards wrote it, and you can tell that, which was quite nice. It was very nice actually to see that someone with very good knowledge of tarot cards. But it was very good. Yeah, that is what I said to hubby. I was like, this is so good. That's the way they're gonna die. Thank you, Heb Sweet. Thank you, lovely. Yeah, there's I will hold my hands up, guys. There's a lot more than what people know going on behind the scenes. But obviously I don't like badgering you all in some sense. And as well as that, it has a lot to do with my eldest daughter, who doesn't actually like anyone knowing who she is. So I have to sort of keep it hush hush. It was crazy. I'm not going to lie. I don't mean it rudely. It was obvious. It was very well done. It was very well done. The only thing for me, if I'm honest, the only thing they did, so they knew the tarot side and they were really good at the tarot side, but they didn't understand the witchcraft side very well. So that's what sort of like frustrated me a little bit. Is they knew the tarot side really well, they did the tarot really good, and they lacked on the witchcraft side. So it was a bit frustrating. It was. Sadly, though, I am a nightmare. I know most films and what's going to come next, etc. I'm a nightmare like that. If I'm honest, Hev, I am weird like that. Most of Amph can't watch programs with me. If it doesn't, that's why I watch East Asian. I don't ever get it right all the time. Yeah, that's why I love East Asian. I don't always get it right. Like, they do twists that you don't see coming on the storyline. Whereas here we're a bit, don't mean it rudely, but we're a bit we hold ourselves back, if that makes sense, on doing a real big twist. And sadly, 90% of the stories here are the same. It's just a different subject. So it's sort of like, it can be quite hard. It can be. But the trouble is, and this is the thing I think people don't realize, within the spiritual world anyway, everything is quite the same. Even when we look at religion, etc., everything is quite the same. Yeah, it's sad when you can do that with a lot of movies. It is sad. You know, they're meant to be entertaining. I know! He's driving 22 days. It's a final countdown. Doo-doo. Oh, copyright. I am sweet. And it's not just that. I've been blessed with a lot from the gods and goddesses at the minute. I have been true and wholeheartedly blessed by them. I cannot ignore the fact that I have. Honestly, they are sending me blessings that I never thought I would have at the minute. And hopefully now I've agreed to be a high priestess, that'll get even better. Hopefully. Anything along the spiritual realm, my lovely. Yeah, exactly like Final Destination. I have agreed. They won't stop pestering me. I had Diva on the other day. There'll be part of it that is removed. So I will just say that there will, because it gets quite personal between me and stuff. So there will be a part of it that is removed. But Tommy wouldn't stop badgering her. And he kept going on and on and on at her to speak to me about it. So she had to speak to me about it. And yeah, so, you know, they're not just badgering me now, they're badgering everyone. Yeah, so it is good. It is good. Very, very good. It is great news. It's just nerve-wracking because now I've got to teach everything that I know as a high priestess, and stuff like that. So it is nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking, but I'll learn on the job. Is the way I'm going to say it. And it will be now, and I will admit this, a lot more talk about the Greek gods and stuff, the Hellenic gods. Exactly, Stacey. We learn as we go. It don't matter. It's a private message, sweetheart. It's a private message. Private message, my darling. Something I've got to deal with afterwards. Yeah. Exactly. So I learn as I go. My understanding of it is the fact of I'm doing what I need to do now. They want me to get they're wanting me to get rituals in place. So they are wanting me to get rituals in place. So I've got to sit down at some point and figure out rituals and stuff like that. And stuff. So I've got to sit and channel them. So I am going to sit and channel them over the next couple of days, figure out what they want me to do and where they want me to go with it, etc. Because they want certain rituals, certain days, etc. to them. I know there's going to cause a few arguments because, if I'm honest, I won't be doing it the way traditional Hellenics are doing it at the minute. So I know there's going to be like, you're not a high priestess because you're not doing it the same way that we're doing it, etc. But yeah, I am going to be, I'm always busy anyway. I like being busy. So I wouldn't do a course. I wouldn't do a course. And the reason why I wouldn't do the course is because most people don't believe the way I do have. So when I say that is most people don't believe the way that I personally do. And I can't think how to word this properly. So if I went on a course to learn how to be a high priestess, it will take me away from my learning and what I already know, which is the reason they've chose me. What I've learned and where I've been guided by them for the last 15, 16 years, they want me to stick to that. They want me to stick to that. Whereas if I go to a high priestess, I went and got the Reiki just for the sake of having Reiki, right, for healing. And I will admit that to everyone. Whereas this is a bit different because it is pushing on beliefs. Yeah, so it's pushing on beliefs. So if I went and done a course at Glastonbury, most of them are Wiccan, or they're just Hekate worshippers and not anyone else. They just worship Hekate. And so for me personally, I couldn't do it because I worship all the Greek gods as their personification, as their energy. So for me personally, it wouldn't be okay. The hardest bit is going to be getting organized. I am not an organized person at all. So the hardest bit for me is going to be where it's like a yearly, everything's done yearly, etc. But the trouble is the dates will change every year because I go on energy. So I go on the way that the earth is feeling at that time, etc. So it's sort of a bit like, so it's not going to be able to be perfectly organized, and it's not. But it'd be better organized than what I am at the minute. So it might be the fact they might give me a chance to channel and find out dates throughout the year and stuff like that. I don't do things. I will admit this, I don't 100% do things the way that 90% of other witches do. But we're not meant to. This is the thing. We're not meant to do things the same. As well as that, if I'm honest as well, I'm trying to think how to say this politely to other witches. So please, if you found this and you're another witch, do not take this to offense. They seem to have forgot how to feel energy. Exactly, sweet. And I think that's what's going to make me different as a high priestess. So I'm not going to go, right, you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way, you have to do it this way. Obviously, if I'm teaching someone and they start to go down the dark path, etc., I will be like, no, you're out. Like, so I will be that sort of attitude and stuff. But because every path is unique, and it is unique. That's fine, sweet. Speak to you later. Every path is unique, and it is. And this is one of the things that for me, I know, bless her. She's a monkey, isn't you? Yeah, everyone talking about you. And this is one of the things where I am different to the other high priestess because they will tell you, right, you've got to follow exactly what I'm teaching you. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. You've got to be a tight-knit group. And I'm just like, no, you don't. You don't have to follow each other on social media. You don't have to be a tight-knit group and talk to each other out of the group. You don't have to. This is your path. You're here to learn. That is what you're here to do. I'm here to guide you. I'm only here as a guide. That is all I'm here for. A high priestess is someone who can help and place you in a position that you need to be placed in. One of the things I am grateful for is because I have accepted it, they've told me I'm not going to drain as much, which is nice, which was really weird. When I accepted it, I literally felt more power come in. So I was like, whoa. So it is really like, it's all about the reason why I think for me personally they've done it is just purely because I have that respect to the human aspect, but I have more respect to the energy aspect, which is what the gods and goddesses are. They are energy. So yeah. Exactly that, Hev. This is the thing this is why I get angry. I know you do, Stace. I love it, sweet. Honestly, I love it. And this is why I get frustrated, because so many of them will say to you, oh, I don't follow a path. I don't follow this. I don't follow that. I don't follow this. But when you actually speak to them and you look at their posts carefully, you'll start to notice they do actually follow a set path. And then all of a sudden, but you know, they do, and they will say to you, you don't have to have a set path, etc. And I'm like, and they will literally force you to have a set path, and they will literally force you. Whereas for me, I understand, say like tomorrow, Hev, you decide, right, okay, I need to do a self-love spell, right? I'd send over the details, give you help, give you guidance on that, etc. And say you didn't want to do it to Aphrodite, you felt like you wanted to do it for Freya, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. That is not a problem. Don't get me wrong, I will admit, you know, it hit me like, how come she's all of a sudden changed to Norse mythology? What's going on here? But at the same time, I wouldn't be offended by it, because that is your choice. And Zeus gave us freedom of will for a reason. And, you know, most of us do a shit job with it. But that is the thing. Yes, there is a lot of false information out there. Cinnamon is an amazing one. You know, I spoke about with actually one that me and you have, and I hope you don't mind me chatting about this, Chaos Witch. Until I spoke to you, I didn't realize it has another term. So Chaos Witch back in the day was used to describe someone who doesn't do things in a set way. Right? So back in the day, it was someone that didn't do certain things in a set way. So if you guys remember, before obviously the Hellenic pagan stuff went mad, I would say I had an argument with someone, if you guys remember, actually on TikTok, about the fact that I am a chaos witch. And she's like, yeah, but you don't do chaotic magic. And I was like, I do, because it's as and when I feel it, I need it, you know, because I go on the energy. That's what I do. And she was telling me that it needs to be BLOOD magic, and that's what makes you a chaos witch. And I was like, no, that isn't. That isn't what makes you a chaos witch. And then she was like, yeah, chaotic magic is basically where you're messing with every element. Well, I didn't know it had changed. And I don't think Carla does either, sweet. I didn't know the term from TikTok has changed it. So for us, a chaos witch just means disorganization. Like, we may think one day, I may sit here one day and I need to have my selenite against me. I don't even know why, but I can feel in the energy that I need it. So I'll sit here with my stick against me. Or there might be a day, as I said, about where I needed rose quartz for my grounding. I don't even know why I needed rose quartz for my grounding. The only thing I can figure out is the fact I fell out of love with creativity, and I'm quite a creative person. So this is the thing that frustrates me. This is where the chaos comes from, because your mind's always jumping and going with the energy and not going with the flow. So in a way, you're going with chaos. Exactly. This is the problem that we're having. So us old witches, us old school 80s, 90s, some of the witches I've spoke to recently come as far back as the 70s. The terms have changed so much. It is so hard. So hard. So it's sort of like they've twisted these new age witches that want to trend, and that's what they're doing it for. That is all they're doing it for, is to trend. Honestly, that is all they're doing it for. So these new age witches, where they're trying to trend and all of that sort of side, it's coming quite difficult, if I'm honest, because when you actually look at it and you think about it, and stuff. Shadow work. Exactly, Stacey. It is annoying. And I do get temperamental about this. And I will admit that to everyone. I do get temperamental about this. And I so will admit that to everyone. Because language is one of the most important things to be able to communicate, etc. And what I have found is this new age witches are coming in. They're completely changing the language that we've all used for years. You know, before TikTok, and I will admit this, before TikTok, that is all the language we used. And as we were saying with me and Carla, you know, these groups before TikTok, before or etc., were only a couple of hundred people. And now you can go in one of the groups that I've been in since 2006, I think it is, one of the groups. When I go on one of them on Facebook, and that was only a couple of hundred of us until 2020. And all of a sudden it spiked, and it's now at like 15, 16K. And I'm like, where did all these people come from in the last 5 years? And they're describing to you, and they're coming to you on social media as experienced people. And it's like, no, you're not. What are you going on about? Exactly. It does make it very difficult to find your people, especially when you're an old soul. Especially when you're an old soul. It makes it so much harder. And I think this is one of the things that shocked me, actually, when we were talking, is actually how much it is. I think COVID fetched them out, and I think it's this awakening. But the problem is they are spiritually bypassing, and I won't deny that, Stacey. They are spiritually bypassing. A lot of them, there's no way they are at the level they're saying they are already. There's just no way. You know, I'm 26 years in. 1999, 27 years. Oh my God, 27 years. And as I said the other day, I was doing witchcraft before I actually was officially a witch. As I said on Carla's podcast, as I said to Carla the other day on the podcast, 27 fucking years. Sorry, YouTube, for the swearing. I just need a moment. I've made myself feel old. 27 years in, right? And this is the thing that I think frustrates me, because you've got all these new age, which are 5, 6, 7 years in, thinking they know it all. And you'll go in and you'll try to teach them, and you'll try to say, look, this isn't good, you shouldn't be doing this, etc. You should be behaving more, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's so frustrating, so frustrating, because I don't even know how to explain how it's frustrating. I really don't. But it is. Exactly, Stacey. They really do. They think they know it all, and I don't even know it all. I don't even know it all, sweet, and I will admit that. I will admit that I don't even know. Some of it is mental health. Some of it is mental health, and that is why they're gravitating towards it. So some of it is mental health. Some of it is they're in a position, is escapism. They're in a position where they can't do anything, so they want to get out of it, and they see witchcraft as a way. Yeah, so they're doing it in a dark way to appeal to others. They're doing it in a dark way to appeal to others. That is very true. I will completely agree with that. And it's sad. It is sad to watch, because you guys have seen my spells, you guys have felt my spells, and I don't mean this rudely. You can do just as much with the light as what you can with the darkness. Actually, I would say more with the light. I personally would. And I would say the gods and goddesses respect it more. This is a problem. It's not a trend. It's not a phase. It's a lifestyle. That is the problem that people don't understand. It's not a trend. It's not a phase. It's a lifestyle. And I think that's what frustrates me quite badly. People don't see that. Yes, us witches, there will be times where we're like, actually, we don't need to do any magic. We don't need, I'm not going to call it magic, I'm going to call it spells. We don't need to do any of it. There is times where we are like that. I went through 10 years where I didn't do a spell. And then 2020 come, and all of a sudden I'm getting told, do protection spells, get your cards out, do this, do that, do this. You need to tell them what it's like. You need to do this, you need to do that. And obviously I'm not out the closet at this point. I'm not actually out the closet. So I'm like, I can't do all that. Like, my family and friends sort of knew. Everyone that knew me sort of knew that I was one, but I wasn't officially out the closet saying, yeah, I'm a witch. I do this, I do that. You know, so for me, it was very, very hard when in 2020 they were like, look, you need to come out the closet, blah, blah, blah. And it took me 2 years for them to finally win. And I finally did. COVID changed a lot. But it changed it. It changed it not just, it changed it for the better. People recognize spirituality more, so it did change it for the better. But there's now an argument over who's going to be king or queen of the spiritual realm. No one is. That's the truth. Chaos is the boss of the spiritual realm, and or source, as some people call it, or universe. And this is a problem. There is such greed and etc. with the community now, that now, if I'm honest, it's come to the point where it's like people just, same here, sweet. People just, rather than actually go, okay, we're all one, you can feel they're saying, yeah, we're all one soul, but they don't actually mean it. COVID changed a lot, and it's really hard to know who's real and who's not. Even for me at times, because computer screen can make that energy a bit different because you've got about, quite a few. But it is hard. Belief. It's not even consistency. It's belief. Knowing that they're there, knowing that they'll protect you when they need to. It's belief. They don't give a shit about you being consistent. So I may not be consistent in my spells. I may not be consistent in my offerings, etc. But I tell you something now, every day. Now I'm talking to you, I'm thanking Hermes. I'm thanking Hermes in my head. I'm like, thank you, Hermes, for allowing me to get this message out there. That's what I'm doing. I'm thanking Hermes. Whenever I sing, I thank Apollon, or I dedicate it to him. Whenever I dance, I do exactly the same thing. When I look at Kali, I thank Artemis for her, because she is like the hound that Artemis kept. When I also look at Kali, I then go, or do you belong to Hekate? So everything I do, everything I think about isn't just my family, it's also the gods and goddesses. So for me, it's sort of like, oh. Aries. I won't even let you lot touch Aries yet. He's feisty. He is feisty. It is more in their own ways, but Aries is feisty. He's scary. So I won't let you lot. I have worked with Aries. So my gossip spell that I do, my Rantan Sender that exploded. That was part of Aries. So yeah, him. I am going to do more about them. I have got up the Cronus video. I'm in the middle of editing Mother Gear. So I am doing more and more about them, sweet. So you can sort of learn them. And I even explain how to work with them and stuff like that. So I am getting that up more and stuff. They can teach us in their own ways. Like, he is God of War, but he's also a great protector to women because his children were the children of Amazon. He's not that bad, but if you are a dedicated worshipper of the Greek gods, he can be a bit protective of you, is the way I'm going to word it. So if you do dedicate your life, like I have, to the Greek gods, he can be very, very protective. I love him to pieces, absolutely worship him, as you guys most probably know, but he can be just a little protective. He loves his people. And especially if Aphrodite loves them for some reason, their energy always feels connected, which is weird because her husband's Hephaestus, according to the myths. But honestly, sweet, he wouldn't harm you in any way or anything like that. It's just more he's very protective. Hades and Hekate. There's actually two. Hades and Hekate. I get very wound up with the way they're used. Very, very angry. Hades is a very soft soul, very soft energy, very, very gentle. Hekate is very protective. Didn't happen to Heracles. Hera, in the original myth, thanks to Disney, that was changed. But in the original myth, it was Hera. that sent the snake to kill him and stuff like that. That is why I actually shared the book on my blog for all to. I'll actually put that just in case anyone is. Yeah, Sahara in the original myth was the one that did it. She was not happy at all. But I will say Heracles, it's a massive thing. But it's not just that. It's the things of, like, it makes me laugh. They say that she was stolen. Persephone was stolen by Hades, but there's actual evidence that she was the queen of the underworld before Hades was even king of the underworld. So there's actually evidence that dates back further than some of the myths. And then there's also, what frustrates me as well is Persephone was a goddess, so she knew about if she ate anything in the underworld, that's she'll get stuck there. She knew that. So why would she choose to eat something? Why would she choose? And then people bring in Stockholm syndrome, etc., etc. And I'm like, come on, you're pulling at stuff. They are truly in love. They are truly in love. Their energies are so beautiful together. Awesome, sweet. It is brilliant. I'm not gonna lie, it is a brilliant book. It talks about Heracles and his childhood and stuff like that. It is a brilliant book. I think this is the problem though, because I can separate them from the myths, so I actually just go on their energy. I know the myths, I've educated myself in the myths, etc., but I don't actually go on the myths at all. I feel their energies, I feel their love, I feel their care. I know for a fact they hate being called brothers and sisters. They prefer to be called kinship. And the reason this is because it gives a misunderstanding to what they are. And they are each other's energy. So they just fold off each other. And that is the difference in between it. They're like atoms. It threw me off. When I first went to read it, the first, I reckon, 2 or 3, it threw me off. I will admit, and I don't mean this rudely to whoever wrote it, the grammar, the wording, the spelling isn't 100%, and I will admit that, Hev. But it is, the story that they've done is amazing. It is amazing. But it makes me wonder if it's English wasn't their first language, if I'm truly honest. If I'm truly honest, I do think English wasn't their first language. But so this is where it's going to get weird, because even though I will discuss the myths, a lot of it is going to go on the energy that I feel from them. So a lot of it's going to go on the energy that I actually feel for them. And this is the thing that I think is important, is understanding that they aren't what people are saying they are. I do feel that is very important. So, Wiccan. Run from Wiccan. Wiccan was invented in the 1930s by a bloke called Gerald Gardner, who was quite a dodgy bloke, in my opinion. He in his books, he encourages a lot of, I don't know whether I'll get in trouble for saying this. It is always the first push forward. I was there as well. Orgies are suggested by him quite a lot, to be honest. What he practices is actually demonic, very, very demonic. And the way he's changed Hekate frustrates the hell out of me. It's his fault, the way people see Hekate now, and it frustrates the hell out of me. So I would run from him. I would absolutely run in the opposite direction. Honestly, Wiccan, they don't even know their own religion. You speak to 90% of Wiccans and they'll say to you, oh, well, our religion is the original religion. It's thousands of years old, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, no, it's not. Your religion was invented in 1933 by Gerald Gardner. And they'll be like, no, it wasn't. It's thousands of years old. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, do we actually want to go there? Because, you know, quick Google will tell you that Wicca was only invented in the 1930s. And this is the scary thing. They don't even know their own religion. Most Wiccans don't. And it's scary, really scary. I had a lady come to me the other week and offered to teach me something. Offered to do some teachings with me. And I said, yeah, that's fine. And I thought, why not? You know, that's the way I am. So someone wants me to learn something, I'll learn it. And I went in and I basically went to speak to this person, etc. And basically they turned around and said to me, we've been Wiccan for 3 generations. So I went, oh, so when were you first Wiccan? And she went, well, my grandmother, who was born in the 1800s. So I was a bit like, at first I was like, my great grandmother wasn't even born in the 1600s. So I was a bit like, okay, I'm listening. I'm taking this on the chin, you know. She went, my grandmother that was born in the 1800s, she taught me Wicca. And I was like, sat there and I was like, ooh. I was like, no, it's fine. I don't want to learn what you're going to try and teach me. I don't want to learn it. And I walked away from that conversation and I thought, one, there's no way your grandmother was born in the 1800s. Like, there's no way. You know, even at 40, I didn't know my grandparents that were born in the 1800s. For one. For number two, there is no way they were doing Wicca before Gerald Gardner, as he was the high priest that brought it to recognition. So I think this is one of the things that actually frustrates me. They choose what they learn and what they teach, etc. Right, guys, it seems to have quietened down quite a lot. Quite a lot have disappeared off the live. So I am going to head off. Oh, that is really weird. Stacey, nowhere to lie, the lives just dropped down to no people watching. So I was like, oh, and there was no comments. Exactly, sweet. So, you know, this is the problem with Wiccans. That's why I run a mile. They try to make themselves sound better than what they are. That's why I run a mile. I'm like, no, thank you. Mass isn't massing. I'm really awful, and I mass not massing. So, right, I am going to head off my buttes anyway. Yeah, it's really weird. It's going up and down. So I'm guessing you're the only one here, beautiful. I'm going to disappear anyway, guys. So if you watch this again, thank you so much. Do give a comment so I know you've watched it. Do give it a like. Do make sure you subscribe. And if you're Wiccan, I do apologise. It's my personal opinion on the religion. It is only nearly 100 years old now. I will give it that, but that's not that old. You know, what I worship is over 4,000 years old. So, yeah, I win. Anyway, Stacey, I'm so awful. All right, guys, I will speak to you soon. And may the gods and goddesses bless you. And don't forget, keep sparkling.